What is up, YouTube? KM888 here with my current deck profile and a tournament report from WCQ Luxembourg from this weekend. First things first, I have to give a shout out to Mana Temple for hosting an amazing 223 player event. The venue was really well organized, we had enough room to play, a well lit room, very big timer on the wall, great pricing for the topping players, and even free water all day around. I'll post a link to Mana Temple in the description below if you want to check them out, and also a link to their stream from the event, so you can actually go and watch some of the games. I'll start things off by giving my matchups and how those matchups kind of went pretty fast, hopefully. So yeah. Round 1, I had to face off against Adventure Synchro, so with the Adventure engine, and then the entire Synchro package with Junk Speeders, Stardust Dragon, all that thing. I won the die roll, and I also won the game 2-1. So one loss in that game, but I couldn't do anything about that. I didn't have that many hand traps for going second, so it's what it is. I still won it 2-1, so that's important. Round 2 against White Forest, Azamina Fiendsmith, so a big pile deck. I lost the die roll, but I still won 2-0, so pretty nice. Round 3 was against Blue Eyes. I lost the die roll once again, but I still won 2-0, so really cool. A couple of remarks for this game. My opponent was Basil. He also went X2 in the end, only losing to me basically and in the last round, so he was also sitting at the top tables right there. And if you want to check him out, he had a feature match in round 7, so you can, if you go to the stream, you can just check him out. Round 4 was against Tempai Fiendsmith. I won the die roll, and that was my first loss. I lost 0-2. Just with the last round, my opponent, his name was Killian. He had a round 5 and a round 8 feature match on stream because he was in the finals. He eventually got second place. And the one thing that I have to say about this game, that it was a full brick for me 2 games in a row. So I won the die roll, chose to go first, and my opening hand was 3 Ash, Veiler, and Ryzeal Cross. So I just couldn't play against Tempai. So that was really nice, and as soon as he used a good effect that I could hand trap, I ashed him, and he immediately triple tactic talents me after. So yeah, I knew I couldn't win. And then game 2, I actually let him go first with a thought in my mind: it's Tempai. I can side in a lot of hand traps, good cards against the deck, and I'm pretty sure I can break his board and then he can't do anything anymore. But like, my hand was atrocious. I had Node Ryzeal, I had a Sword Ryzeal, then there was a Bonfire, I had Fiendsmith in Paradise, and a Fabled Lurry, I believe. So like, all the bad cards in the deck, and no hand traps as well, no board breakers, nothing. So yeah, I lost that one. And then to top it all off, I drew Fuvalos as my 6th card. So yeah, that was amazing. Sometimes any deck can brick. So yeah, I guess that was my game to brick. But yeah, at least I got back on the horse, the metaphorical one, and I went into round 5 with good thoughts in my head, and I went to round 5. So that was against Fiendsmith Ryzeal. I won the die roll, and I also won 2-0. So didn't lose again, one game. Was a real cool match. So yeah, love mirror matches in general. Round 6 was against another Blue Eyes. Let's see, I lost the die roll. But I still won with 2-1 score. Really cool. If you want to check out that opponent, his name is Christian. He had a round 2 feature match with Blue Eyes, so you can just check him out there, see how he plays, stuff like that. It was a really cool match as well. I remember that game 2, because we got pretty close to time already in game 2, that I was just flying through my combo. I'm really happy that I know the deck as well as I do right now, so yeah. Round 7 was against Fiendsmith Bestial Ryzeal, so with an entire Bestial engine with the Lubellion, stuff like that. I won that die roll, and I won the game 2-0. Just as well, really good game. That opponent also went x2 in the end, so like I think like last round I was playing at table 2, and 4 of my previous opponents were like on the top 6 tables or something. Like, it was crazy. And then the final round, round 8, I lost the die roll against Malice. Didn't see that many hand traps, so I got to lose 1-2, which was sad because it was the last round, and if I won that one, I could actually get a really good top score. But yeah, it wasn't that way. My opponent eventually got 4th place, but I do believe his tiebreakers were a little bit worse because my losses were on all the top tables, and he had a loss very early on, I believe. So yeah, good thing at the very least. So yeah, game 3 I only opened Meows when he got to go first. Card got ashed. Things happen, I guess. Yeah, nothing to do about that. But it made me think about the Malice matchup. So I'll get in there with the deck profile. Ending on a 6-2 record, only losing out 6 games total. I was actually very happy with my deck. So let's get into it and show you the deck as well. I'm gonna try and go over it pretty fast. I mean, most of this is standard, so yeah. First things first, triple Ice Ryzeal, triple Sword Ryzeal, only 2 X Ryzeal. I don't like X that much because it conflicts with the fact that you can play Nibiru, Bestials, the fact that if they nip you and you get a token, it's like terrible to get rid of it, so you need, like, the X is horrible at that point. And also it conflicts a bit with your Fiendsmith stuff, so yeah, I decided to run 2X and I wasn't mad about it. Like, I've seen Ryzeal engine almost every game except the one game that I totally bricked, of course. And in general, I like to have the 3rd sword more than to have the 3rd X, because I already have 3 bonfires if I still need this as well. So basically I have 6 Ice Ryzeal, I have 5 X, and I only have 3 sword. So that was kind of the thought process. One note, obviously, 1 Ryzeal cross, and then to round off the Ryzeal engine, the triple bonfire. So yeah, that's 13 cards for the Ryzeal engine. Pretty nice. Then we go to the Fiendsmith engine, and we're on triple Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurry, double tracked, and the Fiendsmith in Paradise. This is as standard as can be, I believe. I don't think I have to say anything about this. So yeah, cards were just phenomenal. And then the rest of the deck are non-engine cards. So if you've counted with me, these, like the engine part, Ryzeal and Fiendsmith, that's 21 cards. So I have 21 cards engine, and I have 21 cards non-engine, just to have a 50-50 split in the deck. I like that very much. So let's get over it. The first thing I want to tell you guys, I'm only playing 2 Nibiru. These were basically my last choices to definitely include in the main deck, and I didn't want to go 43, so I just stayed with 2 Nibiru. I also wasn't that mad about it, because if you check out the matchups, the card is good against Malice, but by the time that you can nip, most of the time they already have their setup, and it kind of doesn't matter. Against Ryzeal, like, if this is the only hand trap and they just go for do a drive, get across, like, this card is just dead, so Nibiru doesn't really matter anymore. Blue Eye is the same. Like, if you don't have a lot of hand traps, the Soul Nibiru it's terrible. Like, they can just play through it, no worries, and then they start playing in your turn as well. So Nibiru at that point, really, really bad. And it's only good if you see it in tandem with, like, I'm not even gonna say 1 hand trap. Like, if you see it together with a Veil or an Imperm, it's fine as 1 hand trap. But otherwise, you need at least 2 other hand traps, which is just crazy. So I don't like Nib that much, this format, and I decided to cut it down to 2, and it actually worked out pretty well for me. I saw it a couple of times, and it was always it was always good. It never got stuck in my hand. I never saw it in doubles, which was actually what I wanted. I think the 2-nip was actually really decent. And then the other two cards that I'm running that can put themselves on the field, of course, are one Magnamut and one Drewsworm. I still like these. They were phenomenal every time I saw them. So yeah, nothing to say about that. I do think like I saw game 1 against the Malice player, I saw like a Drewsworm. That kind of sucked. But apart from that, it's like it is what it is. The cards are actually really great. They help in so many matchups, including like the Blue Eyes stuff, and I expected a lot of Blue Eyes players. Like the deck is just out. I just expect them all to want to bring it. So, and that happened. It actually happened. And then for the rest of the cards, triple Fuvalos. Fuvalos is just a beast. Every time you see it, it is amazing. Unless it gets ashed, which happens a lot. But yeah. And I'm also main decking 2 Meows. Crazy. I know. My thought process in beforehand of the tournament, a lot of players are going to pick Blue Eyes to play. There's going to be a lot of Malice because, face it, it's Europe. We have a lot of Malice players. And then I was also expecting more Fiendsmith or more Mitsurugi decks. And actually, the Meows are pretty decent against all of it. And even if it's in a bad matchup, like in the pure Ryzeal variant, as soon as they do Note, you can still get the one draw from Meows and it just replaces itself. So Meows was actually an amazing card for this tournament. I love that I was playing 2. I think 3 would clock too much, like having 6 Mulcharmies is... Maybe the math is off on that one, I need to test that. But the two Meows was actually really, really good, and I loved it. Having 5 in the deck really helped me, because the opponents, they like if you lose a die roll and you see one of these, the opponent just stops playing. So yeah, there's always that, and that just helps a lot. Next up, Triple Ash Blossom. You definitely need to run these. You need to stop Mulcharmies, so yeah. Great cards. Triple Effect Veiler. Cards nuts. I don't think you have to cut out of Veilers anytime soon. There are matchups that Veiler might not be that great, but in general, I still like the cards, so yeah. That's it for the monster hand traps. And then, of course, we get to the Triple Imperm. Imperm, amazing card as always. Followed by 2 Metaltronus. I was thinking, like, already have 3 Veilers, 3 Imperms. I don't need 3 Metaltronus. 2 is enough as a board breaker. I'm seeing 5 Mulcharmies, so I was hoping to get some draws, maybe see it more often because of that. And I resolved it, like, I think I resolved it 4 times during the entire tournament, and it got negated once by an Ash in the in my final round against Malice. But seeing it against Malice is like, it's weird. Like in game 1, the only thing that you can summon is like the Meteorologic Aggregator, or if they summon the Heart Scripter, you can summon a Bestial. But I mean, it's just not that great. So in that matchup, going first, the Metaltronus isn't that great. Going second, you can use it on the Nightmare Griffin or on the Baoba. So against those, this card is really good. That's why I decided to main deck it. If you go second against Malice and you see it, it's still a great card. And then we have Call by the Grave. I just decided to main deck it. Call by having 4 outs for the Mulcharmy in the main deck, the 3 Ash and the Call by. It seemed more important to me than only having the 3 Ash. Against a lot of matchups, the Call by is also really good going second, so this was amazing. I can't say anything about that. That was already it for the main deck, 42 cards. I loved it. Everything in the main deck worked as it should have, and I wouldn't change anything about that for a couple more weeks, I think. So yeah, really great. I have to pick up some Meows on my own because I do not have Meows. But yeah, there's all like I'm probably gonna get mine pretty fast, I guess. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Then let's get into the extra deck. Extra deck actually kind of nice. Let's start off with the Exceeds first. So first things first, Double Detonator. I don't think this has changed a lot in a lot of decks. 1 Duo Drive, Feedsmith is practically always the same. We have the 1 Eclipse, we have the Dweller, These are all mandatory. We have the aggregator, which is also a package of the Ryzeals, basically. And then everything else in the deck is centered around Fiendsmiths. Last Exceed, Caesar, you need it. The one Synchro in Chaos Angel, amazing card. Then we have the Necroquip and the Desiree, all 100% needed. And then for the links, I was at 2 Requiem, Sequence, Agnum Day, and Moon of the Close Heaven. Now, the one thing that I saw is against Malice, I was kind of missing the Exiton. There were 2 times where I was thinking, like, if I had an Exiton now, then I could break his board because I already lured out so many other cards. So I do think, like, the second Requiem definitely came up during the tournament, but I don't think I would have lost those games if I didn't have the second Requiem. And I'm probably going to cut out second Requiem again for an Exiton. Not sure yet, but it's definitely on the table. It's definitely a possibility. For the rest, like, I've made every Exceed in, like, every card in this extra deck came to the board. So I summoned Aggregator from like, what's it called, the Metal Tronus. I summoned Eclipse Twins to attack, stuff like that. Yeah, everything was usable in this extra deck. Even the second Requiem. Even though I do think you could cut it out for an Exiton. It might be too important if you're expecting a lot of Malice. So yeah. And then the side deck. Side decks are always fun. First things first. Triple Artifact Lancea. You need these for Malice and certain parts for Crystron, but I didn't face any Crystron, so that's okay. I wish I sided more for Malice. I already have the Meows in my main deck, which helped a lot, but I still lost my Malice matchup, and I feel like I only saw Lancea in game 2, and if I just happened to draw it game 3, it would have been nice. And having only 3, it's like a 33% chance to see the card, so I can understand why people want to run more. Post this event, I am going to include Chaos Hunters. So I am going to put in Chaos Hunters. I'm just going to say that. I wasn't playing them now, but they are going to go into the side deck. So yeah, and you'll see in a second what I'm taking out. Triple Mulcharmy Perulia. Card was nuts. I think I resolved this more than Fuvalos. So I saw Fuvalos like once or twice during the entire tournament, even though I was main decking it. But every time that I sided in the Perulia, I saw the Perulia. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. Double Draw Unlock. Just like, I'm not siding these in against Ryzeal because I don't think it's the value is too great. But these are in here specifically for like the big ass combo decks, like the Synchro Adventure package that I faced round 1. If I had to face Mermail, this would be coming in. Against Blue Eyes, it's actually more valuable than a Mulcharmy, so against Blue Eyes, this is great. But that's it. Like, against Ryzeal, you don't side these in, so. And then the cards I'm going to take out for the Chaos Hunters, I was taking in 3 Shared Right. Might seem weird, but hear me out. You run a lot of Mulcharmies, and as soon as you activate one, people do almost everything to not give you draws. So they are going out of their way to end their turn as soon as possible, just so you don't have the draws. If you go first and you get Fuvalos, you get Peruliat, and you have a Shared Right, you could actually make a statement that you could set this, and then every time they search, you get a draw, and they are also just going to pass. So I was citing that as an additional measure, basically, against decks that search a lot, in case you get Mulcharmied. And I cited these in for going first. Well, not that much, because I most of the time won my first game. And I won most games in general 2-0, so I didn't get the chance to cite them a lot. But the times that I sighted them in, like I think it's 3 or 4 times that I could sight them in, I also didn't draw them. So the cards were basically dead the entire tournament because I haven't seen them. But I also haven't seen Draw and Lock, and I'm still like I still think Draw and Lock is also great. But I am going to take out the shared rights for the future, and I'm going to side in Chaos Hunters. I think that's more important. And then more, of course, for against the Mulcharmies, I am also siding Triple Crossout Designator and the 1 Triple Tactics Talents. These cards were amazing. Every time I sided them in, I saw them, they were good. I can't say anything bad about them, so yeah. All in all, tournament was great. Loved it. Going 6-2. It's amazing. Sadly, I got 10th place for top 8. I got my invite, but that doesn't really matter. In general, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep on playing this for a while. To finish up, I want to give a few more shout-outs. First to a friend of mine from locals, Yolan, for lending me the Mulcharmy Meows, since I couldn't get them in time. Shout out to Sebastian for driving with me to the WCQ, so I wasn't alone in the car for 6 hours, 3 hours to the regional, 3 hours back. And shout out to my soon-to-be wife for supporting me doing this hobby. And lastly, one last shout out to Mana Temple for the amazing event. That was it for the video. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Ciao!